Hello, hello, Hidden Hermit here. We're looking at strength, and this is the strength card from the Visconti Sforza deck. Not one of the actual decks. I would be very rich if that were the case, but yeah. So look at this. Slightly different vibe to what's going on here. Slightly different vibe that goes on in the top deck with its Lust and many other contemporary decks. This is a different image. Now, this is the Visconti Sforza. It's one of the earliest known tarot decks. It's one of the fanciest as well in terms of what was going on back then, back in the Middle Ages in Italy. And the first thing that's probably worthy to note is that there is no number on here. As you are probably aware, strength and justice are quite often reversed depending on what system that particular tarot deck used, and we don't honestly know what number, if any number, these particular cards held in the early tarocchi decks. I think it's quite likely that that there wasn't meant to be a number. I think the numbering system came a little bit later, when tarocchi first went to France and became tarot. But we don't know. We don't know. What we do know is, I mean, this is a digital scan of one of the original cards. You can see here that there's a pin here, or there's a hole. Well, it's not actually a hole, but it looks like where a hole would have been. This could have been hung somehow, either as a decoration or while it was being painted. Who knows? Who knows? Somebody knows. Probably. I mean, this is obviously a reproduction of that particular deck. And the book that comes with it is written by the venerable Mr. Stuart Kaplan. He tends to know what he's talking about. And I've completely lost my... Oh, yeah, he would probably know what the relevance of that is. But there you go. But hey, let's have a look at this image. So, first of all, it's clearly not a woman. Not with legs like that, I would say. And I don't know. There's a little bit of a debate. Is he threatening the lion? Is he beating it into submission? Maybe. Or, which is another train of thought, it's interesting to note that this guy, that look on his face, and that lion with the look on that face, could actually be looking at something slightly off camera, or off their camera, not this camera. Something to the right of them from our point of view. Maybe they're being attacked by something. Maybe they're being... threatened by something else. And if that's the case, then they're on the same side. So maybe this lion has indeed been tamed, which is what we understand from the Waite Smith, for example. Other interesting things going on. It's worth to note that this club that he is wielding is green, which is interesting. I mean, that would suggest to me, in a practical sense, that the wood hasn't been tempered or hued right, and it's probably a bit bendy, but I think it probably means something a little more symbolic. There is green hills and green grass in the background. In some decks there are green lines that symbolize your more primal instincts. I don't know, who knows. His sleeves are red, his scarf here, if that is indeed a scarf, what else would it be? I don't know. I wasn't around in the 15th century. His socks are green, are red, excuse me, as well. And we would look at that from a contemporary point of view and say it's all about passion and will and all that jazz. But hey, we don't honestly know. Well, I don't honestly know. You might know, but I don't. But it is an interesting image. Now, I've been saying that this is the strength card, but that may not necessarily be true. It may be signifying fortitude, which is probably a much better adjective to describe the vibe of the card in itself, I would have thought. Or it could simply be called fortezza, which is the Italian word for fortitude or strength. So, again, much more scholarly people may know these things, whereas I do not. Although I do think it's a very beautiful picture. And if you didn't know it was from the Visconti Sforza, you would possibly understand that it was a tarot card, I would have thought. And And the more I look at it, the more I consider it, I do think that they are looking to some sort of external threat to themselves. I mean, the lion looks ready to pounce, doesn't it? It's like, come at me, bro. I can handle you. I don't know. I suppose in a reading, if this was the particular image you were using in a deck, it could mean either, couldn't it? Dependent on how it was coming up in the spread, it could mean beating that wild side into submission, or indeed joining forces with your animal side to face an external threat. I think I'm sounding a lot wiser than what I actually am. But nevertheless, it is a good image. I like it. I would love to get my hands on one of the originals. I think there's like 13, 14, 15 in existence. They're worth hundreds of thousands of pounds. Maybe a little less than that. Again, something else I don't know. But that is the Strength or Fortitude or Force card from the Visconti Sforza. Thanks for watching.